Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and our many guests. This is my boxer, Sadie. Some of our club members have met her. Like most dogs, Sadie loves to be outside. And we do have a little yard out behind our townhouse. However, the gates between the yards are this high, and Sadie is a jumper. So when Sadie's outside, she has to be chained. The first time I put a chain on her, she didn't know what this was about. She went up to the gate, she jumped, and she got yanked back into the yard. She got up, shook herself off, went back to the gate, jumped, got yanked back again. It didn't take her long to learn that she could now go as far as the gate and no further. That was 5 years ago. But every month or so, Sadie walks to the very end of her chain and gives it a good tug. Just to make sure she still has to stay in the yard. A while back, I was out on the patio watering the plants, and I looked over the wall at Sadie down in the grass. She was sniffing around, enjoying the sunshine, but something wasn't quite right. And when I looked closer, I realized her chain had snapped and was dragging along the grass behind her. I ran down the stairs, I grabbed Sadie by the collar, and I brought her back in the house before she could figure out that there was nothing keeping her in that yard. She was free to roam. That incident brought to mind a story that coaches often tell as an example of how we get held back by our beliefs. An elephant trainer can keep a full-grown elephant in place with a rope around the ankle attached to a tent peg. But to tie up a baby elephant, it takes a thick chain around the ankle attached to a solid post firmly implanted in the ground. You see, that baby elephant will pull, trying to escape, until finally he accepts that as long as that chain is around his ankle, he's not going anywhere. And then he quits trying. So a full-grown bull elephant will sojourn exactly where he's hooked because he feels that rope around his ankle. I read a terrible report about a group of circus elephants that died in a fire. They could so easily have pulled loose and escaped out of that tent of freedom, but they believed they were trapped, and so they stayed in the tent while it burned. That story horrifies us. And yet, how often are we trapped by our own beliefs? When I was little, I loved to sing. I performed for my family, my friends, anybody who'd listen. The most exciting day of my whole life was in 2nd grade when I got to audition for the school choir. And I didn't just make the choir, I got placed in honor choir. That's reserved for kids who can actually carry a tune. In honor choir, we got an extra hour a week with Mr. Farmer, the district music teacher, to practice extra songs that we would get to sing at the concerts. I was in heaven for the first 2 weeks. The 3rd week, I got a nasty cold. I managed to croak my way through an hour of choir practice, but on the very first honor choir song, Mr. Farmer brought us all to a halt. And then he went down the row, one by one, having us sing. And when he heard my sorry attempt, Mr. Farmer looked disgusted. "What's wrong with your voice?" "I have a sore throat." "Well, your singing is throwing everyone else off." "I'm sorry, I'll be quiet." "Go back to class." getting kicked out of choir. I must have heard wrong. Can I come back? Mr. Farmer got so close to my face that I could feel the spittle coming off of his lip. No, you can't come back. You can't sing. Well, I went to the girls' room and cried, and then I went back to class, and I didn't sing. My parents even got called in for a conference because Lisa refused to take her turn leading the class in music. But how could I? A professional had told me I can't sing. That was a long time ago, and eventually, of course, I did and do sing. In the shower, in my car, Sound of Music sing-along, just not where anyone can hear me. Beliefs, they can chain us. We need to do what Sadie does. Every now and again, give that chain a yank. Find out if it's still attached to anything. Looking back with an adult perspective, I realized Mr. Farmer might have meant I couldn't sing with a sore throat. He may have meant I couldn't come back that day. It's possible I actually can sing. And one day, I'm going to find out. One day. Today, that change is too strong. Now, Toastmasters.